I never imagined I'd find myself here in this quaint little cafe where the air holds the comforting aroma of roasted coffee beans and the soft murmur of conversations. I'm 52, a professor of literature at the local college, and my life had settled into a pattern of predictable days and quiet evenings. But today, that pattern was about to unravel in the most unexpected way. He walked in, young, vibrant, and undeniably handsome. Ethan, one of my students, though not in my class directly. We've met in the faculty lounge. He's 25 with an eagerness for life that's palpable. His eyes, a striking shade of blue, met mine, and I felt a flutter in my chest like a bird taking flight after a long winter. We started talking about books, which led to discussions about life, dreams, and everything in between. His passion for learning, for exploring new horizons, was contagious. I found myself laughing, genuinely laughing, something I hadn't done in ages. There was an undeniable attraction, one that both scared and exhilarated me. As weeks turned into months, our meetings at the cafe became a ritual. We'd dissect literature, but soon our conversations ventured into personal territories. Ethan shared his dreams of traveling, of writing a novel that would speak to the souls of wanderers. I told him about my past, about love found and lost, about the lessons life had etched into my heart. Each meeting was like adding a new brushstroke to a painting, creating something beautiful and complex. One evening, after a particularly engaging discussion on the subtleties of Emily Dickinson's poetry, he reached across the table, his hand brushing mine as if by accident. The touch was electric, sending a shiver through me. His eyes asked a silent question, and I answered with a smile, my fingers lingering in his touch. Our first real date was at an old theater showing a classic film. As the lights dimmed and the screen flickered to life, our hands found each other again. The touch was no longer accidental but deliberate, a silent acknowledgement of the chemistry between us. The film ended, but we stayed, whispering in the darkness, our faces inches apart. Later, under the soft glow of streetlights, he kissed me. It was gentle, respectful, yet filled with a passion that spoke of both his youth and my experience. It felt like coming alive, like rediscovering a part of me I thought had long vanished. With each passing day, our bond grew stronger. We found joy in simple things. A walk through the park where autumn leaves crunched underfoot, or a visit to the bookstore where we'd pick out our next reading adventure. We shared music, his modern beats mingling with the classic melodies I loved, creating a soundtrack for our emerging love story. Our conversations delved deeper. He was fascinated by my stories of the 70s, the cultural shifts in the music that had changed the world. In turn, I was intrigued by his world of digital natives, the fast pace of change, and the global connectivity that was his everyday reality. And one chilly evening, as we sat by the fireplace in my living room, wrapped in blankets, he spoke of his fears about the future, the pressures of youth, and the expectations that weighed on him. I shared my own fears of aging, of loneliness, of the chapters left unwritten in my life. We realized we were both seeking something. Him, validation and wisdom. Me, a spark to reignite my passion for life. Months later, after countless talks, shared laughter, and the deepening of our bond, we found ourselves at my home. The night was quiet, the air cool, and the space between us charged with anticipation. We sat on the couch, his hand tracing circles on my palm, each touch a whisper of desire. When we kissed this time, it was with the weight of all we had shared. The room seemed to fade away, leaving just us in a bubble of warmth and intimacy. He was gentle, asking permission with every advance. respecting the pace I set. We moved to the bedroom, the space lit only by the moonlight filtering through the curtains. In the sanctity of that room, we explored each other, not with the rush of youth, but with the patience of understanding. His touch was both a question and an answer, exploring the contours of my body with reverence. We lay together, our breaths mingling, heartbeats sinking. It wasn't just physical. It was a melding of souls, a dance of trust and affection. We spoke little, letting our bodies communicate in the language of love, slow and deliberate. Every touch was a story, every kiss a promise. We found joy in the simplicity of being together, in the discovery of each other's sighs and smiles. Lying beside him, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace, of rightness. His fingers traced the lines of my face, down my neck, his touch light and warm. There was no rush, just the slow, deliberate exploration of someone who admired every inch of me. He kissed my forehead, then my lips, each kiss deepening, drawing out a warmth from within me I hadn't felt in years. We moved together, not just in body, but in spirit, a dance of two souls finding solace in each other. His hands were tender, mapping my body as if it were new land to explore. Our clothes were shed, not with urgency, but with reverence, each piece revealing more of the story we were writing together. In the dim light, I saw the admiration in his eyes, not just for my body, but for who I was, for the life I had lived. And for the life I had lived with who we lay skin to skin, the world outside forgotten. His touch was a promise of care, of love, of understanding. We moved in harmony, each movement a celebration, each pause a moment to savor. It was love, pure and simple, transcending age, transcending everything but the feeling of being truly seen, truly loved. The night unfolded like a slow dance, each movement synchronized, each sigh a symphony of mutual discovery. There was a respect in his touch, an acknowledgement of my body's history, its scars, its beauty. I felt cherished, not for my youth, but for my essence, for the wisdom etched into my skin. As dawn approached, we lay in each other's arms, the world slowly waking up outside. I felt young again, not in body, but in spirit, rekindled by the love of someone who saw me not as a relic of the past, but as a woman full of life and stories yet to tell. Our relationship would face its challenges. Society would judge, friends might question, and doubts could creep in. But for now, in the quiet of the morning, I knew I had found something extraordinary, a love that defied the norms and embraced the beauty of our shared journey. We spoke of the future, of trips we'd take, of books we'd write together, of a life where age was just a number and love was the true measure. His youth brought me laughter and joy. My experience gave him depth and understanding. Together, we were crafting a new chapter, one that would be remembered not for how it started, but for how it changed us both. However, the reality of our situation soon began to seep in. At a faculty dinner, whispers followed us, and I saw the questioning looks, the raised eyebrows. Ethan reassured me, his hand squeezing mine under the table, a silent promise that we would face this together. We decided to confront the gossip head on. In a faculty meeting, we spoke of our respect for each other, of the love we shared, not as a student-teacher dynamic, but as two individuals who had found something rare in each other. It wasn't easy. Some colleagues remained skeptical, others supportive. But it was a step towards normalcy, towards acceptance. And Ethan introduced me to his friends, young, full of life. And initially there was awkwardness. But as they saw the genuine connection, the laughter we shared, the discussions that spanned generations, they began to see what we saw in each other. We faced my family next. My daughter, protective, was initially resistant. worried about the implications of my choice. But over time, seeing the happiness in my eyes, she warmed up to Ethan, finding in him a kindred spirit who valued the stories of the past as much as the dreams of the future. Our relationship became a journey of mutual growth. Ethan, inspired by my love for literature, started writing more seriously, his words finding new depth under my guidance. I, in turn, was invigorated by his youthful perspective, leading me to explore new genres in my teaching, to see classics through modern eyes. We traveled, not just to places, but through time. Each journey a blend of my nostalgia and his adventure. In Rome, walking through ancient ruins, I shared stories of history. In Tokyo, amidst neon lights and technology, he showed me the future. Each trip was a lesson, a love letter to life. A year into our relationship, on a quiet evening at home, Ethan proposed in the simplest, most heartfelt way. Not with a ring, but with a bookmark. One I had given him from my collection. On it, he had written, "To new chapters with you." It was perfect, an acknowledgement of our shared love for books, for stories, for the journey we were on together. We didn't rush into marriage. We wanted to savor each moment, each chapter. But we knew without doubt that this was our story to write together. As the sun rose, casting its first light through the window, I knew this was just the beginning. Every moment with Ethan was like turning the page to an adventure I hadn't anticipated, but was grateful to live. We lay there, in the silence of a new day, our hearts beating a new rhythm, one that promised many more chapters to come. Our love, unconventional yet profound, was a testament to the idea that sometimes the most extraordinary stories come from the most unexpected places.